affirmative rebuttal speech. 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. First of all, the studies of legalizing euthanasia is truly dangerous. It is generally said that once we allow something relatively harmless, it may lead to something currently unthinkable becoming accepted. Once euthanasia is legalized, melancholics, paralytics, and people suffering, for example, they might give up their will to be euthanized, but the affirmative didn't give evidence that the slippery slope will not happen. Next, patients might be hinted to choose to let go of their life by family members or doctors. It is true that some may choose to pass away because they don't want to bring trouble to his or her family. In this case, the patient is affected by others. It is not truly the patient's result. With someone who has more knowledge at one specific field when you don't, people may automatically believe in them. In this situation, the family may be affected by the doctor. Continuing mentioned above, doctors may get too much authority. The government should not have the right to give one group of people the power to kill another group of people. Euthanasia has been legalized in the Netherlands for more than a decade, and according to Hending 2000, doctors there have been complacent about the use of euthanasia. The negative would also like to respond to the affirmative and emphasize that the Hospice Foundation of Taiwan helps subsidize the medical expenses to the needy patients with terminal illnesses, reduces their financial burdens, and makes them face the ends of their lives with peace and dignity. National Health Insurance also mentioned that successful palliative care may reduce expenses of the health insurance, since patients wouldn't have to pay for unnecessary medical practices. According to National Health Insurance, when patients choose to live in the ward with two other people, the price of staying in the ward would be free. Here, the negative would also like to warn the House that euthanasia isn't 100% successful. Researchers have shown that in Netherlands, 2 to 5% of euthanasia fail, including the side effects. And as for the Declaration of Geneva, which is modern physician oath, was intended as a revision of a Hippocratic oath to a formulation of that oath's moral truths that could be comprehended in a modern way. The spirit of it is a universal concept, which would not change over time. As for the Wang Xiaobing case, since vegetables are not suffering through pain, the ones who suffer may be their family. For this, we produce a supporting system, including the spiritual supports, to help them from mental suffering. Responding to affirmatives, euthanasia would inhibit the development of palliative care. Studies in 1997 show that hospice-style palliative care is virtually unknown in the Netherlands. There are very few hospice facilities, very little in the way of organized hospice activity, and few specialists in palliative care, although some efforts are now underway to try and jumpstart the hospice movement in that country. We're discriminating against the ill and handicapped. We're essentially saying that the patients' lives are not worth as much as the able-bodied persons, and that their dying are not as valuable as those not dying. And the author says that the patients shouldn't be living for medical research. Thank you.
Affirmative rebuttal speech. 2 minutes.
Honorable judges, worthy opponents, and esteemed guests. The negative team has made several accusations of euthanasia, and not one of them serves to disturb the affirmative case. Number one, so far the status quo we provide is not challenged by the negative team. There is a need in our society for euthanasia, and statistics they have provided have no relations to Taiwan at all, and they are trying to present you with a falsity with no backup statistics. But numbers can't lie. 40% of these terminally ill patients are not able to afford palliative care. Palliative care plays a big part in this debate. Like any other situation, it has its positive and negative sides. I would like to mention the negative sides, as the negative have already mentioned the positive. First, it is more costly. It's far more expensive than euthanasia, and we just want to clarify that with euthanasia, it will solve a family's financial problems, and that of any funding or financial complications will be covered and has nothing to be concerned for, if, of course, the patient is voluntary. There could be palliative care, and palliative care is a great idea. But the fact is that Taiwan has an aging population, and with the limited resources presented and the shortage of nurses and doctors and equipment, was going to be left to palliative care. Our intention is not to remove palliative care, rather adding an option for Taiwan to consider. We, the affirmative, strongly oppose the thought that without euthanasia, the terminally ill patients will not receive a painless death to which they requested. Our plan, along with our enforcement and solvency, will have covered any openings and mismanagement or wronging, and have provided a plan suitable for the people of Taiwan to adopt. Our mission is to respect the patient's voluntary decision and put it into action, to offer euthanasia only as an option to the people of Taiwan. Thank you.
That's the end of this debate. In 5 minutes, we'll have the judge give us a most valuable performances. Now, please wait outside.